Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fan Appreciation Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a horror comedy from 1986. That movie is House. And I really wish I could tell you anything about this movie, but I don't know a thing. I can tell you a little bit about the sequel, but that's mainly because when I popped the DVD into my laptop, the first thing that played was a trailer for House 2. And I will say that the trailer for that looked really, really funny, so I'm kind of looking forward to checking out House 2 a little later on this month. Spoiler on that, what's coming up later on this month. Beyond that, I can tell you that it's a horror comedy, and amongst the cast is George. It was George, Wendt from Cheers and Richard Mall from Night Court. That's all I know. I know two members of the cast. I know what genre it is. I know what year it came out. I'm going into this thing, guys, completely blind. I have no idea if this thing is going to be any good. I do have high hopes because I do enjoy a lot of horror comedies. But the only way I'm going to find out if this damn thing's any good is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out House. Okay, I have a question. So, if his aunt thought that this house was evil and haunted and what have you, then why the hell did she live in it for her entire life? Like, if you knew the house was haunted, if you knew the house was, like, possessed or evil or why the fuck would you continue to live there? I have always wondered this about almost every horror movie involving a haunted house. Why the hell is it just so damn difficult for people to just leave a haunted house? I've always kind of wondered that. Okay, I have a question. I can totally understand him having all of the cameras set up and wanting to see whatever the hell's lurking in that closet. I do not understand having to jog and somersault and combat roll down 3 flights of stairs and then go outside of the house without even opening the closet. I do not understand that for a second, but god damn it, it was funny. Well, guys, I believe that it is now official. If Big Mouth Billy, Bass were a gigantic sword, fish, it would be far, far less irritating and just a little bit more creepy. I just want to make that point abundantly clear, guys. That was very odd. Okay, I have some questions. So, she has known this guy for a little less than about 10 minutes. They've maybe shared about 10 minutes of personal time together. She's going to trust him to babysit her son. Now, mind you, the viewers also know a little bit more about, Roger, and we've seen him have his little, we've seen him have his psychotic meltdown for the last hour. I sure as shit wouldn't trust him to watch a kid. I would probably trust him even less if I only knew him for about 10 minutes. What the fuck is wrong with that, woman? Why would she trust him with her son? I understand it's a stupid thing to ask, but it just seems kind of fucked up to me, you know what I mean? Alright guys, this is really odd. I just sort of want to share this point right now. I understand this movie is a horror comedy. I totally see that they are trying to do that. But this thing has got a really dark fucking vibe just flowing underneath everything else. And I'm seeing it so vividly that I can't bring myself to laugh. The movie is really funny, but damn it, I just can't laugh because of all the dark bullshit I'm seeing like swirling underneath all of this. I'm going to try to explain that better when the movie's over, but I just kind of wanted to share that now. Well, guys, that was House, and, wow. Alright, let me shut that movie off. Okay, now. I mentioned earlier about a really dark vibe that I was just feeling throughout the entire film. And I'm going to attempt to explain it as best I can without spoiling the movie, because I'm going to tell you guys right now, House is a good movie. Just, it would probably have been better if I wasn't absolutely creeped out by everything I was feeling. Now, you can totally go into this movie and just watch it as a straight up traditional horror, comedy. Mind you, it doesn't have a whole lot of comedy. I do have to warn on that, and have no problem going into it. However, I have no idea why, but when I was watching this thing, I think maybe it was the fact that our main character, Roger, is a Vietnam vet who is also a novelist who spends the whole movie trying to write a book about his time in Vietnam. We hear about everything else that has happened in his life. His aunt is dead. His son is missing, and all of this is brought up like way early in the film. I genuinely don't think that any of this technically happened, and I understand that sounds really fucked up when you're talking about fiction. But what I mean is, I don't think that anything in here technically happened in the world of House. I genuinely think that everything that we saw, all of it in all of its awesomeness, was just Roger having an absolute shell shock, psychotic meltdown. And I couldn't shake that feeling for the entire goddamn film. So everything, guys, including, like the ending, I still just could not shake this absolute creepy feeling that everything I saw was just basically a PTSD breakdown. Now, mind you, I am almost certain that very few people are going to get that feeling going into this movie. And mind you, when that feeling hit me, it really made this movie a shit ton creepier than it had any right to be. I just want to make that point kind of clear. The movie, though, is really good, and mind you, everything I've been talking about has to do with the writing, because the writing here is really strong, but it's also thanks to the writing that I just started to get that weird, dark, nasty feeling, and thus, honestly, the humor, while the humor was still good, I just couldn't bring myself to laugh, just because, again, with that dark vibe I was feeling, I was just a little bit too, mortified to laugh. That's very, very odd. However, I totally understand that sounds incredibly messed up. Just, I really don't know how else to put it. Now, mind you guys, the very fact that I had that feeling throughout the entire film should tell you that at least our main character, Roger, is very, very well, written, because we are following him. All right, and it really, nobody else has any real level of depth to them. We basically are just following Roger, and a whole lot of the movie is just Roger alone. So again, that I think also kind of ties into my feelings. But still, and he is written so well, and you really do feel for him for the entire film. And every other character who is here. Now, mind you, none of them are written poorly, and none of them are really shallow. It's just that none of them are really built up, much. So you basically have Roger, who gets tons and tons of depth because you're going to be focusing on him for the next 92 minutes, and then everybody else is just sort of there. So, I mean, writing here is really good, and you'll probably be able to enjoy this thing as a solid horror, comedy, again, with not quite so much comedy, as long as you're not, haunted by the dark vibe I was feeling. Once more, it's very weird, okay? I cannot properly explain it. It was very, very strange. Now, writing here was really strong, and the acting here is also incredibly, incredibly well, done. I'm talking everybody here turned in an absolutely stellar showing, and, well, wait. I'm actually trying to think if there was any acting in here. No. I was just sort of, I was just sort of running back through all the act. And yeah, all of it was really good. I mean, there was nothing here that was bad. I mean, some of it honestly felt like it might have been a little bit wooden, but then again, it wasn't so bad that it was going to pull you out of the movie. So we do have that. Acting here is pretty good. Special effects. This thing's got a ton of monster effects, and all of them are really good, except for one. And this one here is also really good. It's just that it was filmed poorly, and that is at the very end. Roger is being chased down by a zombie. I'm not going to go into any more detail beyond that because that's going to spoil a whole lot of the film for you. And the zombie is just very, very freaking like skeletal, looks awesome. But every time that he talks, and yes, guys, this is a talking zombie, you can see the actor's mouth and teeth behind the rubber mouth and teeth that make up the mask for his costume. Now, mind you, you only see it with certain angles, because there are certain angles where you can just totally see all of it, and it really looks kind of cheap. Especially on close-up shots. Now, mind you, though, when the camera is pulled back, it looks absolutely amazing, and it really is on par with all of the other effects which are in this movie, which all of them are just nothing short of fantastic. So guys, like special effects here are really good, except for those couple of shots towards the end where really it actually was just kind of a bad job on makeup more than anything else. Or well, actually, it wasn't even that. It actually was just poor. It was just poor camera placement. And while I'm on the subject of camera work, beyond those few poorly placed shots, everything else here looks great. Guys, like, the camera work here is absolutely phenomenal. It is stellar. Again, minus those few shots which actually kind of show the shortcomings of one of the costumes towards, the end. But still, I always say this whenever I notice this, like, minor, petty, trivial bullshit. I'm probably the only human being who's going to notice it upon watching this movie, okay? I really don't think that anybody else is going to notice it unless they're genuinely looking for it. And I just have a bad habit of noticing it even when I'm not looking for it. It's a very weird thing with me. So, you guys honestly are probably not even going to notice the little, like, niggling problem I just mentioned. But still, camera work here is really good. The sound mix is good. The soundtrack is really catchy because it's actually just a handful of licensed songs. Maybe, I think it's like all of like 4. And it's really only about like 4 like licensed songs. All of them are really catchy. All of them are really good. And then the score is just really haunting because it plays during because the score kicks in anytime that they're trying to build up tension, and the score does it very, very well. Ultimately, guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend House? Yeah, I am able to recommend House. I just have to warn you that there is a good chance that, like me, you are not going to be able to really see it as a true horror comedy and just see it more as an absolutely disturbing look at a fucking PTSD meltdown, and that honestly is just going to make the film a hell of a lot creepier and a little bit less funny. However, it is still a really solid movie, and I do highly recommend it. If you guys can find this thing anywhere, I'm talking like Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, anywhere. If you can find this thing, you really should check it out at least, once. Because, I honestly still had, fun, with it. Even honestly with the whole, like, dark fucking, like, current I was feeling throughout the entire film, I can still recommend it because I still had fun with it. Now, because this is Fan Appreciation Month, House came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is a person named Matthew, and Matthew wants me to promote his Facebook page, which is facebook.com, I actually have it written down here, I'm sorry, facebook.com/Guardians of Luna. Yes, once more, that is facebook.com/Guardians of Luna. Head over there, check it out. I'm not totally sure what is over there. I haven't really looked. But, Matthew, thanks, dude. I have always been curious about, this movie, and it is thanks to you that I finally had my chance to watch it, because I had heard that it was one of the better horror, comedies out there, and then it winds up, being incredibly creepy to me, but still a really solid movie. Thank you, Matthew. Once more, guys, that is facebook.com/Guardians of Luna. Swing over there. Check out everything which is over there. And just as a closing note, I do know that a lot of you guys have wanted me to that a lot of you guys have wanted me to review another movie called House, which is actually a Japanese movie from 1977. And I'm going to assume a lot of people who don't know how to wait until the video's over before posting comments probably already told me to cover that one in this thing. And for all of you who have done that, please learn to watch the whole, video, because I may actually cover exactly what you are asking. And two, when it comes to the 1977 Japanese House movie, I will think about it. I really have been thinking about it, pondering it. And then somebody sent in this one, and I really enjoyed it. And I know and I know that this and the 1977 Japanese movie House are totally unrelated, but still, I will think about covering that one. You guys really don't have to ask about that one. And once more, this version of House, the 1986 horror comedy version, is really good. I loved it. Mind you, I didn't find it very, funny, but I think I've already explained why. So yes, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.